Welcome back to Meet You at Breakfast. I am Ben here with Brian, Dylan, and Julia to talk about episode number 8 of The Traitors season 3. And I think this season is definitely going to be the best out of the 3 US seasons for me. I really do not see it slowing down at any point. Like we're headed towards a really interesting endgame. We only have a few episodes left in the season, and yeah, for me, I think it would be very, very, very difficult. The end of the season would have to be horrible for it to be not the best season of the Traitors US for me. I don't know if you guys have an opinion on that before we super dive into the details.
Yeah, I agree. I think we say that every episode. We're like, oh, this episode, or like every time we record, we're like, this episode was so good. Like this season's so good. And I think the past seasons were good too, but there's just like this season just has a je ne sais quoi to it. That's just so good. And it's just, every single thing is just like, I mean, minus the missions. I have my feelings about the missions, but I think everything is just like perfect.
I said to Brian last week that my concern with this show is that now that we've had such an exciting, first 2/3, that the back third was going to slow down, much like I feel like some of the very good recent seasons of Survivor has. But I'm taking in that knowledge and never seeing the first 2 seasons and kind of how the formula of this show works. And yeah, this episode was kind of a complete counter argument to that. I thought this episode was very, very good. Now that we've lost some big personalities like Bob the Drag Queen and Boston Rob, the show is still carrying on just the same. I thought this was a very, very good episode. I'm one of my more enjoyable seasons of reality TV probably that I've ever watched. I'm very fortunate to be able to watch it live because a lot of seasons of Survivor I haven't watched live when I watch them. So this has been just an absolute treat.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think there's still a lot of juice left to be squeezed from, this one. And I mean, even leaving off in the turret where we left off in this episode, that should be interesting in and of itself. But, it's great when the faithfuls aren't very good, but the traitors are also not that good. So it's like, what could happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
blind leading the blind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we kind of said that too throughout the season, where like the traitors are like kind of like it's a combination of, or a competition, I guess, between the traitors and the faithful as to like who can lose faster. But yeah, no, I think it's a testament to how good the season is that at the end of every episode, I'm like, damn, I really want to see the next episode immediately. It's like this is probably an amazing season on a binge, I would think.
It goes into the production, the editing, all of it. Like, it's just like, it's a reality show. And there's been a few reality shows before, even like Jersey Shore, there were some cliffhangers of Jersey Shore. I was like, oh, I can't wait to watch. But this show specifically, it's almost like a drama where I literally can't wait to see what happens next week. And it's all I think about between now and the next episode.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's kind of reminding me of when I binge watched Game of Thrones. I was like, okay, one more episode, even though I had already watched 8 that day. I'm like, give me more. I need more.
And so many people that I've introduced this show to and people that I know started watching, they just end up completely binging this season. I have a few people that I've already gone back and rewatched or watched for the first time seasons 1 and 2, and they've done this all within a week. So and for certain shows, that's the best way to do it, is binge it. I am really enjoying, the discourse and the conversation and people talking about it in between the episodes, but I really wish we could watch next week's episode now.
Mm-hmm. I know. I mean, I made the mistake of binge watching seasons 1 and 2 in the same weekend. I think Ben told me about it earlier that week. And then I came home and I watched it from Friday to Sunday, both seasons, just right through. Oh no. Then when it was over, I was kind of like, okay, now I have to wait 2 months until the next season comes out.
Yeah. I mean, definitely it's also making me want to go and watch the, UK season or the Canada seasons as well. It's when the season ends, I'm gonna be like, damn, I really want to watch more Traitors. I know I'm gonna be fiending for more episodes. So yeah, definitely potential there for even more entertainment. But yeah, this episode I thought kind of serves to bridge the end of the Boston Rob story into like this end game where there's this like kind of cold war happening between Danielle and Brittany still, or Danielle and Carolyn still, where they are like pretending to trust each other, kind of, but then also like you still have Carolyn be like, "Oh, I don't fully trust you," and Danielle being like, "Well, I thought we got over this," and like you can kind of see at the end in the turret this like Cold War playing out with them trying to each recruit one of their allies to make sure they have some leverage over the other one. And that feels like that's going to be like the main storyline for the end of the season here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm very interested to see like whether like one of them comes out on top or like they both lose or like kind of what happens. Cause this is like, yeah, there's a lot to really dive into here.
Mm-hmm. The turret might as well be a trash can on fire right now because these two are just I literally wrote in my notes that they are a hot mess. And honestly, like I'm just Team Carolyn all the way. And I just think Danielle is trying to step into that leadership role now. And her trying to get Brittany is just, I don't know. I don't like it. I mean, I'd rather see Gabby. I think that'd be hilarious if Gabby was a traitor. I think she would eat it up. But I would rather see anyone except Brittany become a traitor. I think she's been like campaigning for herself on the low, but I don't know. I don't see it ending well for Carolyn if Brittany becomes a traitor.
If this will be a kind of a massive disappointment if Carolyn allows this to happen because she knows it's not good for her game, and it'll kind of just set us back to where we were at the end of the season of Survivor 2 of just like, you know, we're not really growing as a player, you know, if we're making this move because if we're allowing this because we're too afraid to stick to our guns, then even though I think Carolyn is playing the best game right now, I think that would kind of be, you know, be very disappointing. And the whole women thing, I would just keep voting out men, to be honest with you. I mean, the more women you have, the quicker that whole theory will go away. Danielle's like rationale behind it makes sense. But I watched Danielle with hater goggles on. So like I immediately am like, well, that's dumb. That's stupid. And also I think Danielle is where I think Carolyn's playing the best game of the season so far. I think Danielle's actively playing the worst. And I think that like the only reason she's skating by at like she skated by today when she had pressure on her, like I don't think she had a great counter argument. I think she just laid out why she's a horrible traitor and everybody else is like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I guess maybe you are faithful. So yeah, I really that's part of. I'm leaning more towards that they end up just killing. They end up killing somebody and not bringing on a third traitor. I said last week I'd be pretty disappointed if it was Brittany for that exact reason. Where I think that then it opens them up where, you know, Carolyn is going to be that scapegoat that's going to be thrown under the bus to kind of free them. Because kind of seemingly now next week, Brittany would be the one, in theory, that would probably have the most heat on her going into the round table if she's not, you know, killed.
Yeah, I can't see a world where Carolyn doesn't like put her foot down and like make, you know, Brittany either not be the pick or they just murder someone because there's just no shot she could possibly win if she lets that happen. So, I mean, because like when you get to the end, right? And, you know, we've never seen like 3 traitors get to the end. Do they still get to keep the game going? Like, could they vote off? Like last time we had 3 faithfuls at the end, right? They could keep the game going.
Yes.
Can 3 traitors keep the game going down to 2? Or do they auto win if they're the only 3 players remaining in the game?
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, because like, you know, I think that probably they'll let them keep going because I would always err on the side of what would make the best TV, and I think allowing them to like to keep going and have 2 traitors at the end vote out a third traitor, even though they all know that they're traitors, would be great TV. And I mean, it's the same way that it was in season 2. in that end game, where they were like, yeah, we kind of all know that we're faithfuls, but we're just going to vote one of you out just so we can split more money.
Right. And this show is like one of those ones where it can end in different combinations. So the writers are probably just like, yeah, that's fine. Do it like that. Yeah, sure. We'll end it like that. Like it can end in different ways. So it's not like a set ending like Survivor. There's 3 people left and they vote. It's you know, it can end with faithfuls, it can end with traitors.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I bet you can, and even if it's like kind of unclear, I bet if you went like to the producer, or like, we're going to do this crazy thing, and it's going to be a huge moment, so it'd be like, yes, fucking do that. That's awesome. So it'll be interesting to see, but I just can't see like what's in it for Carolyn to get Brittany in there.
Yeah, there's no upside. Doesn't make any sense.
No, I was actually worried for Carolyn at breakfast when they were like, oh, like we'll be able to see who was a traitor based on if they could tell us what Alan was wearing. And Tom like saved Carolyn because he's Tom and he just wanted to be the one talking. But it's like Carolyn had a moment where she was like, oh crap, like what was he wearing? And Sam finally had screen time. Literally, like I was just saying last week, where's Sam? And right off the bat, he gets like a ton of screen time in the beginning of the episode. And he comes out with this out of the box theory where he's like, all right, cool. We'll just figure out who the traitors are because they won't know what Alan was wearing. But I was worried there for Carolyn for a second.
No, that was clever. I really like that. I think that's like, I mean, I did not expect that from Sam for sure. Definitely, like, that was one that I was thinking as they were kind of doing the sequence like last week and then into the start of this week, where it's like, is Carolyn going to have the information she needs to be able to like fake having been in their position? And it seems like the answer was like, maybe not entirely. I don't know. I don't know if the producers like fully thought that through, or if like maybe she did have enough information, but she didn't really like put it all together into like a cohesive story. She wasn't selected for that, but yeah.
Because I couldn't remember if they had seen Alan before or not from last week's.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't know, because it seemed like Carolyn was talking as if they had seen Alan and she like should know what he was wearing, and she just simply forgot.
Yeah.
And, like, it just happened to make her look sus in a situation where she was sus. But yeah, I don't know how that worked out in terms of like a production standpoint.
Yeah. But they definitely obviously made it look like Tom was going to be the one to go. And I called it last week that it wasn't going to be him. He's just theatrical.
Yeah. I think, I said last week Chriselle, and I think we all kind of agreed that Chriselle was the most likely murder candidate. That made the most sense.
Yeah. I knew that Carolyn was going to keep Gabby safe. Gaggy.
I would have thought Dylan, just because of the amount of effort he was putting forward to find the traitor. But now I'm like on the big, like, but on the page, I like Dylan, like personality wise, but like much like pretty much all the faithfuls I think they're all just like, I think they're past the point of playing a good game. Like even like Sam's like idea, like it was nice, but like they've been wrong. They've been really, really wrong at a lot of these. One of the only traitors they got out was because another traitor went after him. And then, you know, Boston Rob at that point was just too obvious to not get out. So, like, I feel like that they, most of the credit that they're getting, they do not deserve. Like, I think that they're just, especially Dylan. I was really high on Dylan. You know, Dylan was like one rookie of the year, then had just like a mediocre career after once Boston got out because he was too blindsided by his love for Boston Rob. Which I get, but like Dylan has been so wrong each time, and like throwing away votes for Gabby, and like even now, like where he's like saying like, oh, you know, I vote with the majority and I'm still wrong. Like there's no like active detective skills going on there. Like now, like the whole pitch is going from they were still hell bent on the whole coffin theory, and then now they're pivoting over and say, well, now clearly it has to be 2 women, which obviously it is, but like that if you're going just off of that, like. Why nobody has brought up the fact that Danielle at the urn challenge, like why that has not been paired up specifically by Carolyn, but why that has been paired up, like what was paired up today with Jeremy in the coffin, why nobody else has brought that up? Because even everybody actively during that challenge was saying how weird it was. And then like Boston Rob on a podcast this week said she actually had her face up there and swapped somebody else in over her face. Like, and I guess that wasn't shown. So like that seems like such an obvious thing to call that at this point, I'm just assuming will not be called out because it hasn't been brought up. I don't think people will magically remember that all of a sudden. That's like kind of been driving me crazy too, because I think that there's so much horrible gameplay going on by the faithfuls. You know, they're just like they're throwing shit at the wall and just hoping that it's sticking. And I don't know, like as bad as the game as the Traitors have been playing overall, it's kind of turned into a really like decent shield for them with just how inept the Traitors, the faithfuls have been. So I'm still I find myself rooting for the faithfuls, but like I'm back on to now. If Carolyn can be the sole Traitor to win, I'd be very happy with that. But I don't know. Yeah, it's really entertaining to watch. But in terms of like, if you're focusing purely on, you know, gameplay and stats, it's just like they've been so bad.
Well, it's funny with like the format of the show. The gamers, one, there'll be some gamers who get picked to be traitors. And then two, like the people who are getting voted off because everyone knows that the gamers, Big Brother, you know, Survivor players, challenge players, even in Wes's case, are more likely to get picked, that they get picked off. So by the time you get to like the end game, it's a lot of like selling Sunset, housewives, like people who've maybe never played a strategy game. So it does get, and it's like one of the reasons like Sri was able to kind of steamroll is because like every like other gamer got out pretty much quickly, except for like maybe Rachel, yeah. And like, you know, I mean, like, no shit, you know me, she's my favorite. I love Rachel. So like, I didn't mean to like shade her in any way, but like, it was just like a lot, like, you know, in the Hunger Games at the beginning when like tons of people die at the cornucopia, that's kind of what the Traitors is like. And then
that's so fair.
We're kind of back to that like Mexican standoff, that showdown between Danielle. Brittany is part of it. She doesn't even know it. And Carolyn, of like really the three people left that have played a strategic game that are left in this game, right? There's really, I don't think selling Sunset. Well, she's gone. I don't think the housewives are really, you know, strategic threats in terms of this game. And you know, Dylan's just lost. Once again, love Dylan. He's kind of I'm looking more towards like the idiot side of the table. Kind of the same thing with Sam and Ivar too. Like I think that in Tom, you know, I'm a big Tom guy, and much like how I described how I can't stand Brittany. Well, I think everyone understands why I can't stand Danielle, but specifically Brittany. This is my sole time seeing her. You know, I don't have her previous history with watching her in Big Brother, so like if I'm just watching her through this lens, you know, I don't dislike her nearly as much as I hate Danielle. I think Danielle is by far the worst player in this game and has like kind of railroaded a lot of good gameplay potentially. It's been very entertaining though. But like same thing with Tom Sandoval. Tom Sandoval is the most entertaining person in this game. He maybe has been this whole time. It's just like I love him. But the comment today at the round table, even though I had like I didn't watch Vanderpump Rules, having the knowledge of what went on, my jaw hit the floor. That was insane. Him accidentally letting it slip, saying
I did a triple take.
Women are better cheaters. He meant traitors, but saying better cheaters just because, you know, he was probably that whole time had that speech build up. Yeah. And he was like, don't say cheaters, don't say cheaters. And he said it. It was just so perfect. And then every single person,
everybody in for his throat.
It's so funny.
They're like, shut up, Tom. Like I literally wrote in my notes, Tom, shut your mouth in all caps.
Yeah, thank God we have you, Julia, to like give us the backstory, because we would have been like, oh, that's weird. They were so like against Tom in that moment. So he seems just like a silly little guy.
This man, I there are no words, but there are also so many words. It's really crazy. The mission, him on the mission. I wanted to cut my ears off and sell them on eBay because I like.
He was great.
Oh my God. because his big thing on Vanderpump Rules is that he's in a band. He has a band.
I saw
And
a
he's
clip
a-
of him playing
I
a
did too.
trumpet.
He's
poorly
terrible. He's
on
terrible. And
TikTok.
he plays at like bars. Like he's like well known and he plays at bars. Like
Oh, yeah.
he is Tom Sandoval and he has a band. I think it's called like I literally think it might be called the Tom Sandoval Experience. I don't even know what it's called. Like
That checks out.
and he thinks that he's a rock star. And before he cheated on Ariana, he was actually like his band was doing okay. And he had like a full set band with like horns and everything. And now it's just like a sad band with like a banjo. I don't even know. And him with the dolls made me want to die because he thinks that he's like a rocker and him being like, I'm like, you need to stop. Ugh,
Now,
God.
on the flip side, I think Tom was the MVP of that challenge.
He was, but he was still, he's Tom and he was just cringe, so cringy.
And I think without him and his musical experience, I don't think they would have been able to get that challenge down.
Was it musical experience, or was it he was the only one trying and everyone else was just looking for the shield the entire time?
I think he was the only one trying, which shows that he's a committed faithful. He's committed to winning this game for the faithfuls. I think people can change. Much like I think he should leave. I used to be a piece of shit, but people could change. And I think that Tom Sandoval is in the people have changed category now. And like I said, I watch it. I'm only focused on Tom Sandoval 2025 and beyond. It's
yeah, I mean, I
like,
think he'll think twice before he cheats on his next girlfriend if he ever gets one. And I think he will always be Tom. He will always be a narcissist and just full of himself and delusional in every sense, because that's how he's always been. Even when before him and Ariana even got together, he had a diluted sense of reality. And he's just always gonna live on a pretty little pink cloud in the sky. Like that's just where he lives. So.
I don't know if you guys saw like earlier in the episode, he was giving me like Barty Crouch Jr. in Harry Potter 4 vibes with his tongue and the way he was like his eyes dart around, where his like his tongue sticking out like that.
He's crazy. Oh God.
Well,
I can't.
Now I know to look out for the Tom Sandoval Experience tour.
I actually am gonna look about the name of his band.
I think they're stopping by any local venues.
I might be there.
Like interview for us.
It's called Tom Sandoval and the Most Extras. It's his cover band.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Tom Sandoval lead vocals.
Hell yeah. Let's see.
He's got a manager and he's got a trumpet player.
I do think that he's like been the most consistent like star of the season. Like obviously like Rob had his 5 or 6 episode arc where he was like very much one of the main stars of the show. But with Rob gone now, I think like looking from episode 1 to the end of the season, I don't think that Tom's getting killed. I don't think Tom is gonna get banished. Like we said like weeks ago that he'd just lock him in at the final 5. I think we're gonna look back at the season and he's gonna be one of the main stars for sure. I'm
looking at these pictures on his website and like that's him in his band photo.
Nice.
Well, it's a pretty stacked band. Like there's actually, it's a cover band. Tom Sandoval and the Most Extras.
Unfortunately, they're only in the Midwest right now, in Omaha and in Minnesota and North Dakota. But we're gonna keep our eyes out.
We gotta.
You know what?
Obviously,
you have fun with that. You have a good time.
Yeah, we gotta travel to Minnesota in the middle of February to go see Tom Sandoval at a bar.
Yeah, go see him at like a small, very small club. But you know what? Date night. There you go. A good date night opportunity.
This furthers my theory that a red versus blue, Democratic versus Republican season Survivor could work. Just because like people like Tom, like we come around full circle. And I think that now is the time we need to pitch that to Jeff of my whole. So Joe, I have my whole theory that the best season Survivor will be a theme of having all the previous Survivor players that were stone cold, like right leaning, and another tribe of stone cold of just either regular people or left leaning people. And we could really make it work because we would have Coach on the right. I think Dragon Slayer leads a little bit, in the MAGA territory. Obviously, Rodney would be up there. Who I think there's someone else we're missing that was like very obvious, but I think
Sarah
that
Lucina, very famously.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say probably a lot of reality TV stars are MAGA people.
Oh, you said Sarah. Yeah, Sarah was a big one. That was the funniest meme of like her yelling on the challenges, like we know where she was January 6th. That was a very funny meme. Tom Sandoval can make it work.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting merge on that season. that would be quite the merge, I would say. But good TV for sure.
It wouldn't be the most controversial way that the Survivor has ever split the tribes.
Yep, they've done it by race. So like at that point, what do you have to lose?
Didn't they do one season that was like blue collar, white collar?
Mm-hmm.
All the
do that
twice,
and then
right?
no collar, which is not a thing, but they pretended it was. So
yeah,
that was probably the closest that they've gotten to something like this. Yeah.
Those are the ones that didn't have like jobs. They were like the free spirits. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, one was a coconut vendor.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a
Joe,
job.
He's like a crazy MAGA guy now, right? He could come back for your dream season, Dylan.
Mm-hmm. True, yeah.
Yeah, because you could have in the beginning with the three tribes, you could have like a left-leaning side, a right-leaning side, and then a moderate.
To show also how much Jeff is willing to turn a blind eye to. I was shocked to open the Survivor card game to see Ozzy, the porn star, just out in the open. I was like, wow, Team Ozzy, holy shit.
Hey, he's the one of the most popular, to casual fans.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of the middle-aged women on Facebook know that he did porn.
I know.
They wish they knew. They would be thrilled if they found out.
I know. I did research for the pod. I'm well.
Yeah, right.
Where'd you do your research? Google or?
Yeah, we don't give out free advertising.
Yeah. I also think I've heard some obviously no problem with him doing that, but there's some stuff involved in it that was not so good and involved him fleeing the country. So, yeah, go look that up if you're all curious of what I'm hinting at. I don't want to get too. That is funny that he's in the card game, though. Is Malcolm in the card game? Because I feel like you could have swapped Malcolm in for Ozzy and it would have been fine.
I forget all so it's it's Boston Rob, it's D. It is Ozzy.
This is our tangent for the episode. We were saying we were going to do a tangent because we're on a very, very short time span because we're recording right after the episode. It's quite late. But yeah, we had to get our tangent in.
I was just thinking that the entire time. I'm like, where did we go? Where did we get off on this?
Where did we go wrong? We didn't talk about the mission.
Where did we go wrong?
Making fun of Tom Sandoval.
So it's Sari, Rupert, Tony, Sarah. So there we go. Ozzy, Parvati, Jeremy, Natalie. What's his name? The one that I hate. No, D. No. Boston Rob, Sandra, and then I'm forgetting his name. He's one of the newer seasons.
Jam was the other one, right?
Him and Jam Jam's not on the list I'm seeing. I forget if Jam Jam is in there. Yeah.
I'd seen that.
The only new era people I'd seen in it was Jam Jam and D.
Yeah. So maybe this list I'm looking at actually, because I don't recall seeing a Parvati card either.
That would be surprising to me if she wasn't in it.
Mm-hmm.
All those other names make sense, and I think Jam Jam and D as winners is totally fair to.
Yeah, I think those are the probably the best male and female winners from the new era. Yeah. So, anyways, back to the Traitors season. I guess what do you guys think of the mission overall, other than Tom singing? I thought it was fun. I thought it was unique. They did kind of similar things before. They did kind of a similar thing in season 1 with the church bells, where they had to guess a song.
Yeah, I think dolls are creepy, so it wasn't my cup of tea. I was just trying to not cringe to the point of passing out at Tom Sandoval. And I literally wrote, Tom calling himself musically inclined is a bit of a stretch. But, And I also... Well,
Sorry,
I
I have bad
also
internet, everyone listening. So if I'm jumping down people's throat, it's not intentional.
I also wrote, I'm like, I'm wondering the legitimacy of like the timing of the missions because it always
Mhm.
seems like they're finishing
Yeah.
it with 4
Yeah,
seconds to
we've talked
spare.
about this before. It's like
Yeah.
it's probably fudged a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Because
like,
I can't imagine Tom Sandoval cracking the code that quickly on the like how is he getting it that quickly? I don't.
yeah, it's always crazy that every single mission they get it with 10
Mhm.
seconds left on the clock, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I don't even, I actually realized too that like the prize pot really hasn't been as centered of a thing this season, I feel like, because I feel like on the last 2 seasons, it's been like a big deal about like the prize pot and the money. And I feel like we really only talk about it when they're on the mission and they don't even really care because they all just want the shields and like they don't care about the prize pot money because they have a chance at the end to gain it all back anyways. So.
Yeah, agreed. I don't think they care very much, nor should they.
No.
You got to be in it to win it, anyways. So
Exactly.
go for the shield. But yeah, I'm always one for like a creepy challenge and Big Brother or Traitors. I guess Survivor sometimes they do creepy challenges, but not really too often. But Big Brother's the other one that has like the occasional like spooky house.
Oh yeah, the like
putting-
dark house with the like scary stuff, and they have to like
Yeah.
climb through goo and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that. I'm a sucker for that type
yeah.
of a
I
challenge.
just wonder. I wonder who pitched this. I wonder who's like,
Right.
hey, listen, we
Yeah.
had a Viking row, right? That was pretty cool. What if we put a cabin in the middle of the woods with a bunch of dolls?
Dolls.
And
Yeah.
then the other side of the team had to be back at the castle, and they had to sing a song in reverse, and then put it in a recorder, and then figure out what the song is after that.
Yeah.
We need more of that in Survivor. We need more creativity like that.
Yeah. I just like
Best-
wonder
best
how
you can
far
do
away they
is
actually
in
are from the
challenges.
castle. Like
Oh yeah.
why are they going so far?
Mhm.
Like, how much property do they have? Why is it 5 miles down the road for them to go to this little house? Like, why can't it be right outside?
Mhm.
Like, I
Yeah,
don't
I mean, we brought this up last week too, and then like I think on one of his interviews, Boston Rob also mentioned like during that round they only had like 5 or 10 minutes between because they spent so much of the day traveling back from the mission. It's like there's no reason for them to go so far for these missions. Like there's got to be easier ways to do this. Like you can do it closer.
So according to this,
Right.
they have over 100 acres of land
Jesus.
on that property.
Wow.
Yeah, I just don't understand why they need to drive 30 minutes to a mission that they're going to be at for 2 seconds, and none of them even really care about being there.
Yeah.
So
No, agreed.
I don't know. I feel like the missions are just filler.
I enjoy them for like I said. I always said that they're a good time for me to go on my phone.
Yeah,
but like
like bathroom break time.
I enjoy them for usually getting like a good laugh or two, which I feel like we've always gotten with their challenges this year. Specifically, like last week was great. I know Bet said he was sick of the bugs. I didn't realize that was like a yearly thing. So I'm like, what do you mean? This is the first time they did bugs this season.
Ugh.
No, yeah, they do a bugs challenge every season.
Usually in this cabin.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this challenge because it was just so stupid, so insane, but it was fun to watch. We got Tom showing off his musical talents.
It was a good plug for his band. They probably need it. So
All right. So what do we think about Sierra here? Because I think that like the issue that Sierra has with and like I came into the roundtable, especially after Sierra points at both Brittany and Danielle, I'm like, oh, there's no way she's staying now, right? Because like if there are votes coming at you, you really kind of just need to like have one person that you're going to be like potentially pitching as an alternative. And like even if she was able to convince some people, like going into it being like, oh, we have to split up Brittany and Danielle, but not really like firmly giving one name, it's like there was a chance that like even if she convinced a bunch of people, there would have been like a 4-3-3 split because like there was no consensus around which of Brittany or Danielle to vote for. So yeah, I came in like being like, okay, yeah, Sierra's just playing this super wrong. She's 100% getting banished.
Yeah, I know. I just feel like everyone was grasping for straws at the coffin theory, and I'm like that's all that they had to go for. And even like Dylan said at the end, he's like, "Well, I wanted to vote with everybody because it was like the only theory that we had." It's like, then come up with another theory. Like you don't have to go with this one because it's the only thing that you have, and you're just banishing someone that didn't deserve to get banished. When you could have been listening and thought, "Oh, like maybe we should split up Brittany and Danielle." Like, but I don't know. I thought that was super stupid, and I felt bad for my girl Sierra.
Yeah, I came on this liking Sierra a lot, but I agree. I think she played it pretty poorly, but I do think her fate was sealed going into that round table where unless she pulled out the smoking gun for someone else, there was I don't think she was getting out of it. Once again, the earn thing going at the problem is that the past two roundtables, people have gone after Brittany when they should have been going after Danielle, because that was a big thing I said last week with Boston Rob, is that I don't know why you're under any illusion that Danielle was going to start working with you from that point for whatever reason. She'd been, and I said that was another reason why what Boston Rob did was impressive, because he was essentially doing it all by himself, surviving that long without any help from Carolyn or Danielle. I don't know why he didn't go after Danielle harder. Obviously Sierra doesn't know Danielle or Brittany are traitors for sure. So you have to go after one. Unfortunately for them, they're going after the wrong one, the person who's not a traitor. All the evidence is there for how poorly Danielle has played. The Jeremy one is kind of like the first sign for them to go off of, but there's so many other ones too. They inquired, or Tom inquired to Carolyn about Danielle calling her out, and then it was kind of just left at that. They say that's why I think I'm getting more frustrated with how Dylan's playing. Like you said, he said that there was no other theory to go off of. That was a theory that they called out earlier that day. It seems like nobody wants to go after. I just think going into that, they really wanted to close out that coffin theory, whether it was a traitor or not. Like Tom said after, it just felt good to know that thing that was done with. And Sierra, it would have just taken a miracle, but she came into it too very, very like it was all defense, no offense from her, and yeah, that sucked. But I also think that's why that was such a smart move from the Traitors not to put any of themselves in there. That's where they do deserve credit. Is clearly it caused this much chaos. However many days later it has been, that's still something that's being discussed. So, and it's also why I think now that I think they're just going to go down this list. So they have this theory now that it's a woman, and then they have, or that's two women left, and then they have a theory that Brittany's one that's been called out now 2 weeks in a row. Dylan is going to go off of that thing that Derek told him that it was Brittany and Rob. So like, it makes sense on paper why you would do that, but obviously watching it, knowing that they're not traitors, it is kind of like frustrating if you're rooting for the faithfuls to be like, well, like you guys are just checking off a list instead of like doing some actual detective work.
Right. Like Sierra was just collateral damage in the whole thing.
I felt bad for her.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she also did go down with Rob Chip a little bit, right? Like being the one person to vote with a traitor when they're getting banished is like not the best look. But historically on the Traitors, that has pretty much never been a traitor to do that. Like usually the other traitors are the ones that jump ship like as quickly as possible and make sure that they also vote out the traitor when they get banished. So like that's honestly like kind of like it's almost like counterintuitive, which is I think a lot of the things that happen in the Traitors are counterintuitive, where you would think like, oh, this person voted with Boston Rob, that means that they're probably a traitor, when in reality it probably means that they're a faithful who just got duped.
One of the bonuses about this game is that this game is set up first and foremost for entertainment, not necessarily rewarding the people playing the best game. And I like that, where the verse is like, Survivor, I want the person who's playing the best game to win that season. Where this one, like if Carolyn's there at the end and she deserves to win, I hope she wins, but first and foremost, it's all entertainment, and they've done a really good job. Maybe not necessarily setting up some of these players for success in the best way possible, but it's been very, very fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you want to do a little prediction? We have to predict recruit or murder, and then who gets recruited or who gets murdered.
I think they murder, and I think it's Sam. I think the smart thing to do is now, if you think that people are so hell bent on that they need to get rid of 2 women, you just start taking out the remaining men, because you're going to eliminate that like right away.
Yep. I agree. I think murder Sam. I agree. I think between the visibility spike, between the traitors, Danielle called Sam out in confessional that he is smarter than she thought. I think that they're probably going to want to keep Dylan around because he seems more publicly wrong. He's voted for Gabby multiple times, and maybe they can push him towards Gabby instead of themselves or Brittany. I don't think they're going to agree on a recruitment. So I agree. I think murder Sam seems like the most likely outcome.
Yeah, and I think if they recruit, it's just going to hurt either one of their games, and especially Carolyn if she lets Danielle recruit Brittany, but I
don't think she will.
I don't think she will either. But I just think that would just be like her signing off her game, and I just don't think it's worth it for them to bring someone else on at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't even have the deniability of, maybe they tried to kill someone with the shield because the only shield left. So it's really they got in a rock and a hard place here where they're almost forced to murder people. But I do also agree with Danielle that if they don't recruit somebody, they're more likely than not going to lose the game and get voted off as traitors. The only thing that I guess from Danielle's perspective, that's more likely than not. Carolyn, maybe not, because everyone who comes off is very surprised Carolyn's a traitor. So she might be able to win straight up. But I think Danielle's days are numbered if they murder instead of recruit. And even if they did recruit, depending on who it is, Gabby, I guess, would probably be the only one. Then yeah, it's probably, sun's getting low on Danielle's game.
I know. I would actually love to see Gabby as a traitor, but I think it's better if they just keep, because they are so disorganized, and Carolyn and Danielle are just not on the same page at all. And I think bringing a third person into that, I think maybe they think it would kind of mediate, but I think it would just make it worse because it'll be a third wheel situation for somebody.
It'll be very, very funny for confessionals and content reasons, but I agree. I think best case scenario, they don't bring on any traitors at all. I don't know how many opportunities they get from here on out. I don't know if this is the sole opportunity after this.
I think if one of them gets outed next round, they might do because he did a thing last year where it was you either murder this person or they become a traitor.
Or extort. Yeah.
It seems like, and it seems like we are being set up for a Carolyn Danielle matchup at the round table next week, and that could all be just smoke and mirrors. Maybe that's not the case, but just based on that kind of preview next week, I'm definitely I feel very confident that they end up killing somebody, and I'm pretty confident that it's Sam. It's Sam or Dylan. I think makes the most sense. Like I said, I think obviously killing another female would be insane. It would be an insane move.
Yeah, especially since those guys called it out specifically of it being 2 women.
Yeah, no, I think that Dylan said basically to all the men in the or not all the men, but I think just Sam and Ivar inside of that bookcase at the end where he's me or Sam are going to get killed, and I do think that is true. Yeah.
That was actually something I noticed too. I'm if Dylan heard people outside the room, he had the perfect opportunity to eavesdrop on the traitors without knowing that he was eavesdropping on the traitors. And they were just starting to talk about who they were going to murder. Yeah. And I'm if he had literally just pressed his ear up against the wall, he might have been able to eavesdrop instead of just walking into the room oh, hey ladies, da da da. he just like ruined his chances of potentially getting information right there. But I don't think he was thinking of that in the moment. But I was just like, like you had the perfect chance to eavesdrop and you just decided to walk into a room of people that are having a private conversation instead of listening to what they're saying.
Yeah. Missed opportunity for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we quickly touched on it. I do, and I actually was. I didn't say what I was thinking. I think I was looking up what's his name's band info when this was brought up. I do think voting out Chriselle was the wrong move, though. I think she's been so wrong in her guesses with who to vote out in the round table. And like the only reason she voted for Rob last week, I feel like as everybody else was. I think no, once again, not killing Dylan, even though Dylan has also been very, very wrong. I think he was the way more. I think he was the better choice overall. Clearly now, but this is also now that I'm thinking about it in hindsight, with the gears are turning. Now keeping as many women as alive as possible is the better route for them. But,
I mean, keeping women alive makes sense, but like I think that they were correct that nobody was going to peg Chriselle as a traitor. Like, I think she would have been the bottom of the list of the women.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that would have really, been very helpful for that kind of goal.
That's true. You've swayed me back now. I was clearly not that firm with Dylan. You've swayed me back.
No, I mean, like the reasons I said that it made sense for Chriselle last week were like, she's not socially connected to either of the two traitors. Mm-hmm. She's kind of a wild card. It can't be controlled. She throws her vote away a lot. Like there's not really a way to like kind of direct her in the way that you want. And she's like very obviously a faithful. Like I think that those three reasons are like, you usually like if you don't have one of those three, like you're just useless to the traitors. And I think Casey said that to her face as they killed her. They're like, yeah, you're useless to us. You have to go. You serve us no purpose being here.
Yeah.
Very true. I've been swayed. I'm back on that side.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have anything else we want to touch on? I think we can head on out.
No, very good episode. I'm very excited for the rest of the season. I'm just, every episode I'm going into it like really excited and like, hoping that the quality keeps up, and it is keeping up. And so as long as it keeps up,
it's a good time for TV right now. Mm-hmm. I think a very good time for TV right now. Got White Lotus.
Great reality TV renaissance, as Brian has put it. The Deal or No Deal Island season 2 is way better than it has any business being. Like, it just like really, really, like Peacock is killing it. They've got the formula, I think.
I have such a hard time believing that, but I feel like now I have to watch it because the whole idea of the game seems so stupid.
It's very hokey. It's very hokey and like it's very campy, and it definitely like it's as silly as it sounds in terms of like the premise, but like Parvati and Dr. Will are like delivering, right? Like they're like, icons from their respective shows for reasons. And the rest of the cast is also pretty solid. And like there's a lot of good drama. The editing is really good. Yeah.
Like I said, White Lotus on Sunday. So another reality TV connection there. So looking forward to that. Yeah. Walton Goggins, one of the best actors cooking right now with TV.
He really is just a force on a incredible run between, White Lotus, Fallout, Righteous Gemstones, Invincible, like just killing it. All right, Ben, anything you want to plug or promote before we get out of here?
No, I mean, I'll go watch if you like the Traitors, you like reality TV, go check out Deal or No Deal Island season 2. It's pretty good.
All right. Yeah, I co-sign that. It is very fun. Dr. Will actually being back in a game is as fun as you hoped it would be, or at least as I hoped it would be. Julia, anything you want to plug?
No, I think I'm gonna hop on the Deal or No Deal Island train. I keep seeing the previews for it, and you've convinced me to give it a shot. The premise of it is very interesting to me, but I'll give it a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dylan, same thing.
Just follow me wherever. I don't know. I keep saying I want to do stuff. I don't. Follow me here. This is the only consistent thing in my life.
Survivor's coming up. Survivor season 48 premieres in less than 2 weeks.
Survivor's coming back. Yeah. We got the Oscars coming up in a bit. That's usually a fun time for me. We'll see if we'll do anything with that.
Go Wicked.
Brian. Yeah, I love Wicked. Yeah. I'm like heavy on the Brutalist for Best Picture now after seeing it. But I love me some Wicked. I actually just bought the Steelbook. I'm a physical 4K collector, and I just got the Steelbook of Wicked in a sweet eBay duel. So I got that going for me at least.
I've got my movie buckets up on the shelf up here from the popcorn.
Nice. As you can see, I have the whole set of signs and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I feel almost we have to support Wicked given our namesake.
Yeah, Wicked good everything,
Yeah, it's we have to, and it was really fun, really good movie as well. Yeah, so you can follow me, obviously, Twitter, the Fake B Mar, Blue Sky, Brian Mar. I'm writing for a Dolphins website now, Dolphins Talk. Check that out if you're a football fan, or even if you're not, just please check it out so that they think I'm doing a good job, and maybe I'll get more opportunities. And then I'm gonna start. We have our We Could Get Everything .blogspot. I need to figure out how to get the URL back to being WeCoulDGetEverything.com there, but I'm gonna start doing little write-ups on that website for each video and podcast, and then we have the We Could Get Everything Sports thing where I'm going to do more blogs on there and also write-ups. So a lot going on. Main channels We Could Get Everything. I think I did 3 videos there this week. The sports channel, I've done 10 videos so far this week. Gonna do more tomorrow. And then this channel is Better Radio. So thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.